Hey everyone, we're looking at problems involving quadratic equations. That's page 37357 there. We're starting with question 5, which says that one positive number is 3 greater than another positive number. 12 is added to the square of the smaller number. The result is the same as 4 times the larger number. Find the two numbers. So the first thing I'm going to say about this is it's easy enough to get kind of lost in these questions. So make sure with all of these exercises that you're reading them slowly and that you read them several times. You might need to read back over them. You might kind of halfway through the problem come back and read it a second time. They're all about quadratic equations. So make sure you just use one variable. Probably x is what you'll use most often. There's a temptation with some of them, including this question 5, to introduce an x and a y, where you can use an x, and I'll show you how to do that now, where you can draw a diagram. Okay, it'll help your thinking an awful lot. Sketch out a diagram of what the problem involves, fill in all the information that's in the problem, and then you always want to form an equation and solve that equation. Okay, that's always going to be a step involved here. An equation is one thing is equal to another thing. So in this case, we're told something about the two ages. Okay, so we've got one positive number. I'm going to call that first unknown number, I'm going to call it x. So one positive number, that's x. And it's 3 greater than another positive number. So sorry, let's do this. Another positive number. Let's call this x. And we'll call this one that's 3 greater. We'll call that x plus 3. Okay, so these are the two numbers that we have in this problem, x and x plus 3. Okay, so do you see what I've done there? I'm only using one variable. You might have been tempted to call them x and y. But this way we've only got one variable instead of two, which is going to simplify these problems an awful lot. When 12 is added to the square of the smaller number, well, which was the smaller number? It's this one. So the square of that number is x squared, and when you add 12 onto that, the result is the same as, so this is where you're forming an equation, is the same as equals 4 times the larger number. 4 multiplied by our larger number, x plus 3. Okay, and that's really the hard part, I think. Oh, excuse me, I just realized I wasn't showing you my hand there. Okay, so when the square of the smaller number, when 12 is added to the square of the smaller number, the result is the same as 4 times the larger number. Okay, that's what we have there. And if you can get that much done, that's the hard part of these problems, is kind of getting your equation down on the page in the first place. From there, this is a quadratic equation, even though it doesn't really look like one yet because we haven't tidied it up. That's x squared plus 12 is the same as 4x plus 12. I move these two terms over, x squared plus 12 minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. 12 take away 12, I'm left with x squared minus 4x equals 0. Okay, so let's just finish that off here. X squared minus 4x equals 0. So x times x minus 4 equals 0, and we say either the first number that you're multiplying is 0, or the second number you're multiplying is 0. X is 0 or x is 4. So these are our two solutions, and those are values for the smaller number. Okay, but just be a little bit careful. It didn't just ask for the smaller number. They really want to know both numbers. So it's either 0 and 3 bigger than 0 is 3, or the other possibility is that it's 4 and 3 bigger than 4 is 7. Okay, now you can check that if the square of the smaller number, if you add 12 to the square of this, well, 0 squared plus 12 is 12, you get 4 times the bigger number, you get 4 times 3. That works. Or if you square the smaller number and then add 12, so 16 plus 12 is 28, you get the same as 4 times the bigger number, 4 sevens are 28. Okay, so there's question 5. Okay, we're going to move on to question 9. A rectangle has a length 3 centimeters greater than its width. It has an area of 28 centimeters squared. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So a rectangle has a length 3 times greater than its width. So there's its width. Its length, remember, we don't want to call this L or introduce some second variable. We know that it's plus 3. Okay, it has a length that is 3 centimeters greater than its width. Okay, we also know that the area is 28 centimeters squared. Okay, so this is where drawing a diagram is always going to be beneficial for these problems. You're going to start off, draw that diagram, and then you want to get yourself a quadratic equation. So you get length multiplied by width gives area. So that is W plus 3 multiplied by W equals 28. Now, if you used x plus 3 multiplied by x, that's fine as well. So if you're more comfortable with x's, no problem. But either way, what do we get here? We get W squared plus 3W equals 28, okay, which is quadratic. You just need to move this over to give it the form that we're used to. W squared plus 3W minus 28 equals 0. Okay, now you can solve that by factorizing, or you can solve it by minus b. It doesn't really matter. If you like minus b, go right ahead and do that. I'm going to go with factorizing. I'm going to say factors of 28, 1 times 28, 2 times 14, 3 doesn't go, 4 times 7. Okay, and I can see that 4 and 7 can be put together to give 3. Now it's minus 28, and I was a bit sloppy there. 1 times minus 28, 2 times minus 14, 4 times minus 7, 7 times minus 4, 5 and 6 don't go in. 14 times minus 2, and 28 times minus 1. But, sorry, this is the one that's going to work for me. 7 and minus 4, so W squared plus 7W minus 4W minus 28 equals 0. Gives W times W plus 7 minus 4 times W plus 7 equals 0. And W minus 4 times W plus 7 gives 0. Okay, so W is either equal to, either W minus 4 equals 0 or W plus 7 equals 0. So W is minus 7. Now we have to ignore that solution because remember W represents the width. Okay, and there's no such thing as a negative distance. So W equals 4 here. That's our answer. Just come back up and check it. If that's 4, then 4 plus 3, that's going to be 7. 4 multiplied by 7 gives us 28 centimeters squared. So you know you have it right there. Okay. From here, remember, that's kind of the hard part, getting the equation down on the page. From there on, yeah, you might not be great at the algebra. You might find that you get tripped up from time to time, but that's really what we're looking to teach you in this little section here, is getting that equation down on the page. Okay, so that's question 9. I'm going to finish up with question 13. The area of a given triangle is 40 square units. Find x. So you've got 2x as your base, and you've got x plus 3 as your perpendicular height. Hopefully you remember the area of a triangle is given by half the base times the perpendicular height. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say area is half of the base, which is 2x, times the perpendicular height is x plus 3 equals 40. So there's our equation formed. Okay, and like I say, that's kind of the tricky part in these ones. So get your diagram down, really have a think about it. See if you remember any old formulae, maybe about the area of a triangle, for example, that you need to work with. So that's half of 2x is just x times x plus 3. Okay, so x squared plus 3x equals 40 when you multiply that out, and x squared plus 3x minus 40 equals 0. Okay, I'm going to be super lazy about this one. Just have the factors appear as though by magic. To get a plus 3x here, it's going to be 8 take away 5. So that's going to be x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 40. And that's x times x plus 8. Take away 3 times x plus 8. And you get x minus 3 times x plus 8. Okay, and rather than doing the either or, I'm just going to jump straight in. X is 3 or x is minus 8. Okay, we can't take the one for distance. You can't have a negative answer. So there's our answer there, 3. Come back up and check it. That makes 2x would be 6, and that'll be 6. Okay, so excuse me, I can see that I've done something wrong there. That's obviously 8x take away 3x does not give 3x. 8x take away 5x is 3x. So I should have taken a factor of 5 there. And in fact, I was rushing so much that I didn't spot that 3 times 8 was not 40. Minus 5 times 8 is 40. That's x minus 5, and this is an answer of x equals 5. This is why it's good to come back and check your answer. If you make a mistake, it'll come up. Okay, I was about to get the wrong area when I checked my answer with 3. So check it with 5. That becomes 2x is 10. Perpendicular height becomes 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, so a half the base times the perpendicular height, half of 10 times 8 is 40. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to ask you just now to go and do question 4 on page 357, please. Thank you.